Can we have all the football players come down to the floor? All football players, all student athletes on the floor. All student athletes on the floor. Come on, guys, just put your seats up here. Come on, y'all. Come on front. What the seniors? We need the seniors up front. All seniors, student athletes, come up front. Seniors, all the seniors. If you're a senior, come up front. Seniors, all the seniors, come up in front. Seniors, seniors up front. Okay. Seniors up front. Now seniors, you seniors. Come on. Seniors up front. Who's captain of the football team here? Who's captain? Who's captain here? Sweet feet to captain. All right, y'all fill in the blanks. Get the gap. Let's get the gap. There's three right there. We ain't gonna be that long. We time just want to pour into you guys. Came all the way in from New York. All right. We in there? Good win last night, football team. It was great.
Justin, all right, y'all hear me? Is it weak? All right, oh, that's better. Everybody hear me? Y'all all right? Hey, I appreciate y'all coming out, man. This is great. And we all welcome to your alumni, so it's great to see y'all. Right? You know, great to be yesterday, the football team represented. You know, I'm excited to see the basketball team. This basketball team out here. I think I saw some volleyball players too, right? Yeah. That's what's up. Oh, y'all in back. Y'all need some chairs? Yeah. Archie. All right, so we got it done. Bring out some extras. Testing. All right, cool. Now y'all hear me. Everybody hear me all right now? Y'all good? Everybody hear me back? Y'all hear me? All right, cool. All right. I am excited to come here and talk to you myself. All right? When I was growing up, coming up in Carver, first of all, how many kids go to Carver? How many kids go for Carver? Oh! Okay, all right, that's what's up. So, listen, I was in Carver. The teachers so they activists come and talk to us. So we had John Starks came and talked to us, when Tisdale came, Daniel, and for me, like seeing them and hearing their stories, like inspired me. Because a lot of stuff that I was going through, they had already gone through. So I thought that certain stuff was like, to me, like I was the only one dealing with this stuff. They were like, no, they deal with this. Now, y'all know John Starks? Everybody knows John Starks? Everybody knows Mr. Tisdale? Y'all know. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? but no, we're going to all talk to them, and we're going to talk real to them. Okay? Especially, they have a reunion. So they go straight from here and see they all dressed up all nice, right? So they have their reunion, so they go straight from here to reunion, get together, and they wanted to come here and talk to y'all. You understand what I'm saying? Because it's important. Because if we don't talk to y'all, there's a lot of stuff that y'all not going to know that you're going to deal with, and you have to learn how to deal with things the right way. Now, we made a lot of mistakes. I made a lot of myself until their story. I made a lot of mistakes. Okay? And sometimes the theme of this is where you have to play the cards you're dealt. All right? Play the cards that you're dealt. That means that you're not always going to be fair. You guys don't feel that fight? Yeah. Y'all think so? Y'all hear me around fight? Yeah. All your big fights. This is real house. Okay, all right. So it's playing the cards you're dealt. Because it's not always going to be fair. All right. The things are not always going to be fair. And that is a hard pill to swallow. For me, it was always a hard pill to swallow when I was a barber. It was a hard pill to swallow when I was cooking tea. And sometimes things are not fair. That was my biggest fear. I was little, but like, that's not fair. And my mom, right here, you know what I'm saying? Who told you not supposed to be fair? Like, who told you that? Who told you things are supposed to always work out the way that you want it to work out, and you're not going to have balance of mind and all that stuff? Right? So, just real quickly to tell you, me growing up, and everybody acts, so I know what you say, that everybody acts like they're back in Washington. Right? So, I was blessed to play every year. It was blessed to play with the Lakers, played with Michael Jordan our first year. Okay, we came out of the time they played with the Wizards. I played with the greatest player on earth ever. Michael Jordan. All right? You know, I played with Gilbert, played with Kevin Durant, played with all these elite, right? I'm from right here in North Tulsa. This is where I'm from, right? I went to Syracuse for 4 years. You know, I was blessed. But before all of that, I was in Carver Middle School. And I remember a teacher. Her name was Miss Stewart in the 7th grade. And she accused me of cheating. Right? Now, I don't know how it is for y'all, but for me, math is tough. Now, my teacher over there, Miss Fisher, everybody know her. Miss Fisher, hold your hand. Miss Fisher, that is Miss Fisher, okay? She was my teacher for math all through Booker T. If it was not for her, I would not have made it through algebra 2, or geometry. Like, she literally was like, okay, you're going to sit here, and you're going to get this right, and I'm going to talk to Coach Harris, who's our coach, right? And you're not going to go to practice until you get this right. I was at lunchtime trying to get it right. I was at the school trying to which is crazy. That's just how it works. But now going back to Harvard, I'm 7th grade, right? Math is still hard for me. I had to do summer classes, and we got used to that summer classes. Mom put me in a UCAT, and all the time, doing extra work and all that. So I'm walking to the classroom, Miss Stewart's class, in 7th grade, right? And I had studied hard, like hard. Like you walk into a class and you know that you're ready for this test, you got a little extra stress to you, right? Because you prepared. I took the test. I know, like, I know this answer. I know, like, I'm not even sweating. You look at other people and you're like, looking up at the sky, like the answer number just coming out the sky to them. I didn't know that. I was ready for it, right? Took the test, handed it confident. You know what I mean? Like, that's how I was. So later on, the teacher said, the steward said, you know, there's another student whose test is a lot identical to yours, but it looks like you copied on it. Now, being falsely accused of something that you didn't do, there's a way to handle it and the way not to handle it. So, what is a good way to handle that situation? I want y'all to tell me, what's a good way to handle that situation? Raise your hand. Come on, go inside, raise your hand so you get, what should I have done in that situation, or what would you have done in that situation? Y'all shout first, right? Y'all shout, all right, cool. I'll tell you what I did. Okay? Take what I did. So you mentioned, I got so upset and so offended that I completely lost it. I completely lost it. You know, like when you get so mad and you're yelling and cussing and spitting and crying all at the same time? I don't know if y'all have ever done this, but this is what I did. I was so mad. So I remember I turned and my classmate there, Paris, he looked at me and was like, bro, why are you so mad? I was like, she accused me of cheating. I was so pissed, right? And so what had happened, so she accused me of cheating, and I lose it, and guess who they tried to suspend? Now, I didn't cheat. That was the thing. So the thing is, another girl, who was a white girl, saw how much I was studying. She saw me with Miss Nelson, who was my teacher the year before. She saw me looking like I was prepared. She saw me confident, and she cheated off of me. But the teacher automatically assumed that it was me that cheated. Now, why am I telling you this? Because this is a situation that some of y'all are going to run into. And you have to know how to handle things the right way and how to handle things the wrong way. I reacted the wrong way. So even though I was innocent, even though I didn't do nothing wrong, even though I did not cheat, the way I responded got me in trouble. So, do you think that how many of y'all think that the girl came forward and said she was really the one who cheated and it really wasn't me? Raise your hand. How many of y'all think that's what happened? Nobody? No, that's not what happened. But even if it did, the way that I responded, right, put me in the wrong. So why I am saying this is because you're going to get into different situations where you have to have self-control. Now hear me? Now this is something, why I'm telling you this is because this is something I struggled with forever. Like that's just one story of Harvard. I can tell you 25 stories from Harvard to now. If something like that happened, I had to have self-control. Sometimes I chose correctly, sometimes I didn't choose correctly. But you are going to have situations like that. All right? Y'all understand? So everybody else has different things that they dealt with. And I'm going to start this off. This is one of the things we won in 96 in basketball. But we also won a speech and debate, right? And this is my brother, he was in 99, class of 99. And they were killing the speech and debate. He was doing it since like Harvard, right? So I'm going to open this up with a poem. Well, Jordan's going to open this up with a poem. And I want y'all to understand how when you're an athlete, you don't have to be one-dimensional. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to just do one thing. You can look at other talents and tap into it. You know, my mom would always say that that basketball is just one of the gifts. And a lot of times, a lot of people at different schools are going to try to put you in a specific box as just that. You know what I'm saying? All right, school. We were here, both here. It wasn't looked at as the coolest thing to be a speech debate. Different now than fine. When we were here, it wasn't looked at as the coolest thing. But it was something that I always liked to know. You know what I mean? So I went to have a speech debate tournament, and that's what tournament is to play. Give the claim to business, right? And then go win a speech debate. And that's what I like to do. All right. So first, right here, Stacy Buchanan. Now, y'all clap. So I went to Harvard. Let me tell y'all real quick how nice they are. Okay? So my AD coach is right here at the bottom. Right? Everybody raise your hand. Okay. That was our AD coach, and that was at Harvard. Okay? So it was like our 7th grade year. We were getting a little bit full of ourselves. We started getting nice. Right? We started playing. You know, in the sixth grade, I looked super. Sixth grade in Harvard, you know, I had to learn and work and everything like that. Then we started getting a little bit better in 7th grade. So we started getting a little bit of big. Okay. At a scrimmage, now Stacy then had a special team, and I think the team, I think it was mixed because she was a year older than me. So it was mixed they gave us the business. Like, so Tracy Ray over there was on that team too. And when I say it was brutal, like I remember this, the one who I was starting was Rakisha Williams. You remember Rakisha? She gave me the business, and she was talking about how she was doing it. And like little people, you know, like when you first get, he's trying to make a little move, like, all right, maybe, you know what I mean? Man, he said, oh, get that mess out of here. And she didn't say mess. I was sitting there like, oh, they can't even play for real. Our W recorders is a legendary. Okay, like I said, he was nice since elementary school. And like one of the cats that just, you know, like you see some cats like young. Like I said, elementary school. Sixth grade he was in Carver, 7th, 8th grade he was at Monroe, right? And he was like small when we was little. I was like, how is this dude small right now and we are in the 6th grade? And he was, you know, he went on, he had an amazing career, playing in the NFL. He went on to play at Arkansas regularly. Man, 40 minutes to hell. Have y'all ever heard that phrase? You ever heard 40 minutes to hell? Y'all don't know 40 minutes to hell. Wait. Raise your hand if you've heard of 40 minutes to hell. Oh, y'all don't know. Okay, all right, so 40 minutes to hell is what they did, where they literally picked up full court as soon as the person took the ball out. Full court the entire time. Press the entire time. No fallback in the zone. It stayed like this. They was literally pressing up the entire game. And then when that person got tired, the next person came in, and they pressed up the entire game for 40 straight minutes. You got to get an unbelievable amount of shape to be able to do that. But that's the system that he played, and he was nice. So ladies and gentlemen, ladies and gentlemen. Talking about how you don't have to be one-dimensional, right? He is the embodiment of that. Because he didn't just stop at just playing football. And we'll let him talk about all that as well, but later.
right, great question. One piece of advice to give to younger states. I would say don't rush into your journey, right? Don't rush into making sure everything is perfect, right? There's going to be situations where you're going to have to shift and pivot and adapt. I will also say, be patient. Continue to be curious. And you know you, right? Outside of your family opinion, perception of social media, you know you, right? Stay true to yourself. So I would definitely say that to myself and continue to go after what you want. Like, don't be determined. A steady pace is better than a no pace, right? And so all of those consistent small steps will turn into longevity and success. So that's what I was saying.
RW, you were on a different level than all of us when you were coming up as far as the level of talent. And you keep shaking his head because you don't want to hear it, but that's the truth. I know about saying that it was nice. And at a young age, nice, right? What would be some advice that you give to some of these young cats that are also, you know what I mean, that are talented, that are going to start seeing things in the papers, that are going to have all the people start giving them attention, who are going to see the same girls that they saw back at Carver that didn't even look twice at them now to start smiling at them because they hooping or they balling on the football field. That doesn't happen. That happens. So what would be your advice to them?
I would probably say, number one is ask questions. You know, talk to the adults, talk to the people that were there before you, talk to your classmates, talk to family members and friends, and just continue to get advice. The second thing I would say is stay steadfast, stay in the gym. In high school, we played video games, we didn't have social media, we didn't have cell phones. Early on, cell phones probably came later, like our senior year, maybe freshman year in college. So we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have social media, there was no Facebook or anything. So we stayed outside. You know, we wanted to find a football game, we wanted to find a basketball game. We were constantly in the gym, we were constantly lifting weights and just constantly trying to get better. With that being said, I would say that and ask questions and talk to the people, the adults. And like Derek said earlier, how to navigate certain situations is important in controlling your temper.
Romeo, I keep calling him Romeo because that's what he was known as. But it's Landis Williams. Now, I've heard you, follow you on social media, and I've heard you say this before. And this is something that was a real key point about keeping things in perspective, right? And where you get your strength and courage from. Now, let me tell y'all right now, okay? Y'all are all talented. Y'all, the football game I was there last night, y'all was balling, gave them business. You know what I mean? Everybody's talking good about you, everything like that. Sometimes things change when you lose a game or two. When you don't play well. You know what I mean? You don't catch the pass and it ends up and everybody's all cheering and everything like that. Sometimes you're going to have a bad game. And the whole, you see, now y'all got social media. We didn't have social media. So y'all got everybody who wants to have an opinion telling y'all that y'all had a bad game. We didn't have it. You know what I mean? So where do you get your draw for your strength, your courage to be able to push on when there are tough times in your athletic career?
That's actually a really good question. And just for the record, the nickname Romeo is not the Romeo player situation. In Romeo, we had Juliet, so I'm crazy. That's just, there was a Romeo around to get in trouble a lot. So it was Romeo. So that's how that came about. But the thing about putting things in perspective, guys, a lot of us, we all come from different backgrounds. I grew up going to Anderson, which is now closed, and I had a very different path coming up. And now, I found Christ in 2012. I really want to put that out there. And I can tell you that it is so many talented people. And I was so talented when I was here. But when you go to college, the competition is stiff. And I'm like Etan said, I went to the University of Arkansas. And we just competed for national championships. And it's one thing that separates a good team from a championship team, and it's leadership. And guys, everybody in here at some point, God gave you a given talent, and He didn't give you that talent to order for yourself. He gave you that talent so you can help somebody else. So you guys, at one point, you guys can have a good team, but the one thing when I was here is that we lost the state quarterfinals twice. And we lost to Ed and ORU. And I was kind of like the leader of the team and stuff like that. And I remember when you're a leader on the team, you're going to set the tone. You're going to be the pulse of the team. And the reason why we lost the main reason is that before the game, we needed that pregame speech. We needed for leaders to get up and say, we got this. This is what they the season ends. And I didn't have it. I had a very difficult upbringing. My mom was a young mom when she had us. But the thing was, when you're a leader, when you're given a lot is expected. And whether you want it or not, the responsibility will fall on you. And so, we didn't win because of the pregame speeches. We just got to sit here like this. And so we went out on the court and just, you're already defeated. Because they don't know what I'm feeling. And I felt confidence, I felt inside, but everybody in the stands had to feel how I felt. Now, when I got to Arkansas, winning the national championships, everybody was moving. You got that, you got to pick him up. Everybody was talking, everybody was in unison with each other. So, one thing about Quincy City, guys, you got to get accepted to be here. So, this is the cream of the crop. Guys, at some point, everybody in here is going to be a leader somewhere. And it might not be sports. Ministry, which I never thought I'd be in ministry, and God had bigger plans for me than playing sports. You might be a nurse, you might be a doctor, you might be a teacher, but every one of you guys will be power to lead. So I would have to say one thing you want to put in perspective, it's a bigger purpose, and it's going to be God. Thank you.
It's so funny, and I don't even know who knows this. But there was a moment in time my freshman year that I couldn't stand Romeo. So I'm going to tell you how exactly what it was, right? I'm going to tell you, you didn't know this, right? Oh my gosh, I couldn't stand you. So I was young, I was a freshman, and there was this girl that I liked, April Foster, right? And I was a freshman, and she was a senior. And, senior ain't gonna talk to a freshman. But, hey, when I had to, shot my shot, right? And she had me down here, she was like, it's me, but, I don't know that speed, but it was like, just a car last year. She's like that. So it was all good. And then guess who she started talking to? Romeo. I'm sitting there and practice just looking at her, just hating. Oh, that's when I missed that shot in the game. You already know that. No, man. All right, so man, let's do it. So I want you to talk about how you didn't stay in one box for just being a football. You ventured out and you're doing amazing things in politics, what you're doing with the fire department, what you're doing to push things and change things in Tulsa. It's amazing. So I want y'all to listen because there's going to be a lot of people, even when you go to college, that's going to try to put you in a box. There's going to be coaches that want you to take easy classes just so you can stay eligible. That's not going to help you in the long run. I'm telling you, it's going to happen. So I was taking a class that was the hardest class that I've ever taken in my life called calculus, right? In Syracuse. Look at this Mr. Ray raising my hand. I hated that class. It was so unnecessary hard. But I had a study group. I had a tutor that the Syracuse provided for me, and I had another tutor that I got from the department. So every day after school, my stuff after practice, the study group would be sitting there practice waiting for me because I was like, y'all can come to the we can just go right there and study. All of my coaches at one point said, listen, I'm glad that you were, into your school and everything like that. I need you to make sure that you're focused on basketball. And I was like, yeah, but if I don't do this, I'm going to fail. Like, I don't have no choice but to do this. And they tried to kind of steer me towards taking something that wasn't less stressful that would take away from basketball. Y'all hear me? Y'all hear what I said? You are going to see this in college. They're going to try to give you an easy path to make sure that you're focused on whatever sport that you're playing. Right? But it's not going to help you in the long run. Because then after you're finished playing, right? And you're not any good to them anymore, a lot of those colleges won't even return your calls. Am I lying? They won't even return your calls. Now, yeah, if you're a superstar and you make the college look good, then yeah, they'll want you to come down and speak here and do this. But if you didn't do anything, like they said, you were a regular player and you finished, they're not going to even return your calls. So just understand that when you go to college, it's a business. Right? They're looking to use you, right? But you have to also use them. Don't ever forget that. Go ahead. Talk about how you're going to let them put you in the box of just being a football player and how you think you're so far above them. Thank you.
I'll try to make this quick. Don't embrace every part of yourself. When I was at Liberty, I played football, I wrestled, I played trumpet in the jazz band. When I was at Clark, Tom Wilson got me into theater. I got into student council, things of that nature. And even though I played ball and I was an athlete and see it as a job, and don't get me wrong, I was nice. Like, the ball was nice. But my name would never be hanging in these rafters. And it's not because I wasn't a darn good football player. But I played with people like our W. Porters and Devon Barber, and Ryan Humphrey, and Aaron Locke, and Rocky Wright. Names that went on to play at D1 schools and then into the NFL. That wasn't my path. I gauged success as football playing in college for me. That was success for me. I would have loved to go to the NFL. I felt like I was a part of the heart and spirit of the team. But to be able to go to college and be the first person in my family to go to college and have it paid for, that was winning for me. So the idea was, like Etan was saying, how can I use college to my benefit? So I took those classes. When other people were taking 12 hours during the football season, I was taking 15, 18 college credit hours during the football season because I wanted to graduate. And I wanted to make sure that I got the major that I wanted to, and I could set myself up for the job. But also while I was in college, I became more engaged with the outreach. And as a result, I didn't know it at the time, but God was preparing me for the place that I'm in now. So I came back to Tulsa, I ended up becoming a firefighter. And while I've been with the Tulsa Fire Department, I served as vice president for our local union, and then I became the president of the Black Firefighters Association. Still had no idea that it was preparing me for where I am now. All of those things eventually transitioned to, we needed a new state representative for this area. I did not want to be the guy. But everyone that had worked with me and that was around me, who's come up through school with me and through college with me, said, you're next. And I struggled with it, and I wrestled with God for months before I decided to take on this role. But now that I'm in this role, man, I wouldn't trade it for the world. Because I'm able to take my experiences of growing up. I was born in a mansion. I grew up at 63rd and Cheyenne and cut my teeth at 40th and West. I'm as north side as they come. And for a long time, all I could see was North Tulsa. And I didn't realize it was life beyond. But because I embraced those things that was different about me, that I played the trumpet, that I was into theater, that I liked student council, I liked doing community service, I soon learned that my life was going to service, and that service is what spoke to me. And now I'm in a position where I get to serve 40,000 people in Northwest Tulsa. And when I go to the state capitol every session, I'm thinking about those people that helped raise me and helped me become the man I am today, that encouraged me through high school, that supported me in college, but had the foresight to say, Don't let them just make you one-dimensional. Some of you guys and some of you ladies are into way more than just football, basketball, volleyball, swimming, whatever it may be. Embrace those things, because that's your makeup. And you don't know which one of those things is going to lead you to a path of greatness. Just because your name may not be one of the ones that are having these rivals doesn't mean that your impact on your community won't be just as great. You understand what I'm saying? Don't take who you are for granted, and don't let anyone tell you that you're only a football player or an athlete, and that there's nothing you can do beyond that. Etan shows us every day on his podcast, activism, and the things that he does now, that it's bigger than basketball. Basketball helped to get him where he is, but basketball doesn't define who he is. And although you all are just in high school now, start getting that mentality set that I'm not just an athlete. I can offer so much more, and I can actually help so many other people through my service.
To the young ladies, right? I want Stacey to talk specifically to the young ladies, right? So, young women have so much pressure on them because of social media, more so than we were growing up. All right, I got 2 daughters, so that's what I'm speaking from. And I see all the different things that can constantly attack your self-image. And it is done so much that sometimes you don't even know that it's happening. And the people who they put in front of you, who are supposed to be the ones that are the most popular or aspire to be, is usually all of the negative attributes that they kind of want you as young ladies to kind of just embrace. Is that fair? It's not like it wasn't like that when we were young, right? We had young kids boxing around all of them, but we didn't have social media. So we weren't in their lives as much as y'all are in the person's life. Like, y'all see them all the time. You know what I mean? And that image, this is what you're supposed to be. This is how you're supposed to dress. This is what you're supposed to look like. This is what you're supposed to act. This is what's going to get you attention. All of that stuff is constantly being pumped into your, because you got your phones like this. It's constantly being shown to you. Stacey, what advice would you give to them as young ladies, how they navigate that as they continue to play in high school and in college?
Another great question. So again, just like Etan said, we didn't have social media, right? And so we didn't have to deal with the pressure that you guys are having. If you guys feel the pressure, right, of maintaining a certain, look or trend. I can say this. I can say for me, I see it, on social media. You see people, getting surgeries or having fillers or doing that, right? You guys, you're advocates, right? You have the dedication, you have the determination to be who you are without any cosmetic enhancements, right? And it's okay, right? For me, I continue to work out, right? I have that I would say that drive of keeping my appearance as is, right? Without needing the influence or having to look a certain way. So continue to work on yourself. You have the foundation you already have the foundation that you're doing now. And continue that as you get older, right? Continue to do that. I can also say that it's false, right? Looking at social media is false, it's not real. Just being true to yourself and staying real is more important than quick fixes, right? Everyone wants the quick fix, everyone wants to take the easy path. And your cards is your cards, right? Your hand is going to be different from the next person's hand, right? Continue to dig deep into yourself and continue to flourish throughout your high school career, your college career, and just keep moving forward.
Great. All right, RW, I want to ask who's the toughest person that you ever had to play against or line up against and after your whole NBA career? All right? That is a very easy question for me. Now, I'm 6'9", right? But I was an undersized center. That was my position. So the hardest person I had to guard was Shaq. And then people ask me, did he dunk on me? Of course he dunked on me. He's Shaq. Yes, he dunked on me. Yes, I just did my best. He's Shaq. So the thing is, you're going to deal with giants in your life, on the court and off the court, right? All the chips are going to be stacked against you for being successful against this giant, right? So what I'm talking about was on the court or Shaq. We're watching film, like y'all football play, y'all just finished watching film, right? We're watching film, and they have a Shaq segment, right? And he just dunk on people like that. They're like, all right, we're going to guard him, and you're going to guard him, and we're not going to help him because we want to keep out to the, we don't want him to kick it out to the open shooters, so you're going to guard him by yourself. I was like, hold on. Y'all not going to dig down and nothing? Y'all not going to, nothing? Y'all just want me to try to, you know, they were like, yeah, that's what we want you to do. So what was I supposed to do? Quit? Was I supposed to quit? Was I supposed to say, nah, I can't do this. This dude bigger than me. This dude better than me. This is one of the best big men ever on earth in the NBA. Was that what I was supposed to do? No. You strap it up and you go ahead and do your best. That's how you have to do it on the court, on the field, and in life. Because there's going to be things that you see that you're like, how am I going to win in this? What if they stack up against me? What you going to do? Win? Right? So, who was the toughest person that you had to line up against? And how did you do, and how did you have the courage and the confidence that you could line up against them?
Well, I've seen several dogs out there. And Jimmy Smith was good and played with the Jacksonville Jaguars. Marvin Harrison was tough to guard. Randy Moss. The list goes on. I think the first thing that you have to do is you have to have confidence. You have to have the confidence going in saying, okay, he's good, I'm good, you know, he's going to catch some passes, you know, I might knock down some balls or whatever, but he's going to catch some balls, he's going to get open. You just have to stay the course and stay confident. And, you know, I played with some guys that literally the first quarter he gave up 2 touchdowns. You can see it on his face. But our DB coach let him in. He said, oh, he's got to battle through it. And those only 2 touchdowns he had given up, but they came early in the first quarter. So imagine being on the corner and you got 3 more quarters to go to see this same guy over and over again. So you just sort of have to get it out of your mind and tell yourself, look, I'm out here for a reason. You know, I'm out here just like they out here. So they want to show me what they can do. I'm going to show you what I can do. The second thing is you got to be committed. You got to commit to the job, commit to your position, commit to your team, commit to the workout. And the more you start to have that confidence and the more that you see yourself committed to your job, it'll help you get over that hump around the field. It's just like Eric said earlier, we all have bad games and bad plays. But you got to be able to bounce back from it. Otherwise, it's just going to continue to go downhill.
You know, one of the things that my grandmother used to always say, right, was that everybody has their own bag of rocks to carry. All right? Everybody has their own bag of rocks to carry. So what is going to be your thing that can trip you up will be different than what's going to be your thing that can trip you up. Right? Now listen, I grew up here, North Tulsa. Okay? Not one time did I get offered to join a gang. I had teammates that was neighborhood cribs. I had teammates. My teammate, his brother was one of the biggest bloods in Tulsa. Right? Everybody shaking his head because he knows what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? I had cats that were banging, you just wear a color, throw a sign, and that's what you do with your homeboys. No. Like really big, like moving weight, like a whole enterprise, big, right? But they was nice. They could, listen, I have no problems telling y'all that off the top of my head, I can name 20 people just from North Tulsa that should have been in the NBA way before me. Way before me. Like I told you, when I first came to Carver 6th grade, I was tall, you know what I mean? But I wasn't nice at that. I went to my mom and I can see when I was younger, right? So I was playing over there. I was like Junior Bar. Like I had everything was working over there. I got to Harvard, man, the white rules didn't work. None of them worked. I don't even remember when I was there. He was like, man, you kind of tall, and I have it all together. Like for real. Like when my homeboy during high school, he told me from the time I was sitting there, sad because I wasn't playing good, my moves weren't working. He was like, man, you gotta get that Monica Seco out of you, man. That's not gonna work over here. So that's where I started from, right? So I used to go to Y right here, Y, New York, and watch the older cats play. And they was nice. And they would rough me up, you know what I mean? And I saw cats that could play, and I saw dudes, after they finished hooping, go do dirt. You know what I mean? And I saw people, like I was an observer. I would watch, right? But I'm not going to tell you all that. It's not like I came and I played the Christian NBA because I was the nicest person in. No, that's not what it was. It was by the grace of God that He kept me with all the different things that could have gotten me. It just wasn't games. So for me, it was always like, remember? It was like, I started learning about the history of my culture, I read autobiography about Mets, I started learning about everything. So all this racial stuff started happening when I was in high school. You know what I mean? It was like, y'all remember Hurricane? Y'all don't even know Hurricane. That's such a great movie. But like I'm sitting in the cafeteria, sitting there like this, chilling, because we used to chill in the cafeteria, and people used to sing telephone. Right, and when they always go talking to the other cafeteria. This little freshman sister came up to me, right? And she said, hey, this dude called me the N-word. And like all the cats around me got quiet. And I kind of looked. And it's like, like when you have you kind of zone out and you don't even see nobody else, right? And I was like, show me where it is. And she took me back to Talaferro's, right? So we walking. I didn't know that there was a whole big crowd following me because I didn't see any of them. So I'm walking, we're going all the way to Talaferro's. And so we go there, she steps her some points. And so I come down there, and I'm like, did you call this sister N-word? And I looked at him, and I was like, wait a minute. I know this dude. This is the dude that I knew from Harvard. Like, I used to sleep over his house because he played basketball with us. You know what I mean? And I was like, and that's the only thing that snapped me out. I was like, bro. He was like, man, I'm sorry. I got mad. This had nothing to do with that. I shouldn't have done it. I started doing all of this. Now, if his response was anything other than that, I was already gone. Like, and I'm saying this to say, somebody else doesn't have that kind of issue that can trip them up. That was my issue that could have tripped me up. And they kept happening. Y'all remember when the Rodney King murders came out? All of Harvard Middle School almost exploded. I remember it like it was yesterday. You know what I mean? There's so many things that kept happening to me, but it's just the grace of God that God kept me. Now, keep on starting over. Ladies, what are some things that they need to watch out for that can stop them from achieving their goal? Because you have to be aware of it. Like everyone said, everybody has their bag of rocks to carry. So for everybody, it's going to be something different. Right? What are some of the things that they got to look out for?
That's really a good question. what Stacy said, what Chris said. And actually, this panel was going to go, but I prepared a verse. And this verse is from Isaiah 41. It says, "So do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you, and I will help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." Okay. When I was up here at Booker T, my mom was 16 when she had my older brother. And she was 19 when she had me. Now, this is relevant today as it was yesterday. And my mom was a young mom. While I was here at Booker T, and while I was in Arkansas, my mom really struggled with drugs. And my dad wasn't in my life. He struggled with alcohol. And I know you guys are going to go through this stuff, and it's very important you guys hear this. And I myself, before I found Christ in 2012, before I came to Dad, which my doctors, I struggled with alcohol. And so when some of those nights when I was up there playing on Liberty, I think we played on Tuesday and Friday nights, I hadn't seen my mom. Our electricity might have been off, or we hadn't eaten. And so when I went to the University of Arkansas, I feel like I never really went to college. I feel like I was just running from home. And the thing is, you guys, life is not going to wait for you to get old enough to throw issues at you. A lot of times right now, as I look at you guys, some of you guys are going through what I was going through. When I was in the 7th grade going to the 8th grade, I had my growth spurt. Over that summer, I went from 5'9" to 6'4". And so the one thing I held on to is this: when my mom stopped coming home, this basketball going to have to work. It's going to have to work. And there was a lot of ups and downs and valleys and all this kind of stuff. And in Arkansas, it got a little difficult because now the lights came on, the money came, the women came, for you girls, the guys are coming, or whatever the situation may be. But a lot is going to come at you very fast, and then it's going to disappear. And so now, in 2012, I found God. And so the window for sports or whatever it might be, it's a very small window. But the window for life is forever. So the one thing I would say, we all have different cards to play. And for some reason, I look back on my life, like, how did I keep going? How did I keep showing up for practice? How did I, in my recruiting process coming out of Booker T, I had about 5 shoe boxes full of letters of colleges that recruited me. And I had to go through all that by myself. And I know you guys go through a lot of pressure, you go through a lot of anxiety, stress, worry, and all those guys are young. The thing is, you guys have to deal with your parents' issues because you guys aren't old enough to financially support yourself. But the thing is, guys, like our elder saying, guys, find somebody to talk to. Find somebody to talk to about stuff. And I'm so thankful, rest in peace, my Coach Harris. We had so many talks, and he knew how introverted I was, and he knew the weight that I was carrying. I was carrying the weight of Booker T. I was carrying the weight of my community. Like my man said, I was the first in my family. I was the first to graduate high school. I was the first to graduate college. I was the first to get sober. Guys, sobriety is probably the biggest thing I ever had in my life. I won a lot of tournaments and all that kind of stuff. But getting my 1-year sobriety trip, it might be the greatest thing I ever had in my life. First, bring crisis in my family. So now in my family legacy, I have education, I have Christ, I have sobriety. Look what my daughter's going to get. Look what her daughter's going to get. So it's going to be bigger than just what you guys see right now. Look over past down the line, guys. And at some point, your relationship with God is going to be pivotal because you're going to need an outlet. Because when you guys go to the next level of looking for jobs or whatever the situation may be, the pressure's going to intensify. And the higher you level up, the devil's waiting for you to level up. And the word you're going to hear is spiritual warfare. When you have a talent that inspire and encourage other people, that gets the devil's attention. Because you guys now have to have a deeper radius to go into the communities and uplift other people. I don't know if you guys know this, I'm pretty sure you do. We don't live in a very light world, guys. And for you guys, this movement so fast, like Stacey's saying, the social media stuff, it's not everything you see on TV. Everybody has a backstory. Somebody's dealing with something right now. And it's not going to be solved by throwing a ball or getting a paycheck or getting a degree or a relationship. At some point, you guys are going to have to get the Bible and accept that there's something bigger than you have, a high power. So keep your head up and understand that we all go through trials and tribulations in the world, but one thing we have to remember is that God overcame the world. Thank you.
All right, time is going, and I want to let them get to their event because they celebrate their reunion. But I want to open up to y'all and ask some questions. Okay? Do not be afraid to ask us anything. All right? Now listen. When I was able to have somebody like John Starks or Rick Tisdale come speak to me, I wanted to ask them all the questions I possibly could. You know what I mean? Because I wanted to get to where they were. They had been accomplished. They were playing in the NBA. You know what I mean? The Knicks is one of my favorite teams. You know, so I'm shy. Actually, you ain't gonna just raise your hand and we'll bring them back. All right, so anybody has a question? There we go. All right, good. You got it? All right. The first great soul.
How did you do with racism?
Oh, great question. How did I deal with racism throughout my life? So, right here at Booker T is where it started. Okay? So, when I got into speech and debate, I started writing about racism. So, I had an original oratory. That means a piece that I wrote myself. And I talked about specific racism that was going on. So, there was an incident where I was going to a basketball game against Central. One of the biggest rivals that we have. Y'all still play Central, right? Y'all play Central? Oh my gosh. Are you serious? Oh, y'all okay. All right, well, Central was a big rival to us. So going to the game, I got stopped by the police. Listen, I want y'all to hear this. I got stopped by the police. Now back then, when brothers got stopped, they had to get out the car, sit on the ground, let me search the car, all this different stuff, right? And I'm right there on Pine and Pandora, which is one of the biggest intersections. People driving by looking at me like, they don't even know what happened, right? They're slowing by and I see them looking at me, right? So I'm sitting there 45 minutes. They search my car, everything like that. They said, now you look familiar, we've seen you before. We look familiar, keep looking, keep searching. They had another cop car came, another cop car came, and the lights, sirens, everything like that. I'm sitting on the ground, I was embarrassed. It was a terrible feeling. All right? So then after a while, it came to them that the reason why I looked familiar was because I played with Booker T. And they saw me in the papers. Right? You think they apologized to me? They said, stay out of trouble. And I was out in their cars and left. So I'm going to the game. I am pissed. Coach Harris is in the middle of the things I was late. I came in, got stuff going on, mad, everything like that. I played a horrible game. Found out so early that I was just taking aggression out on the court. They were fouled. So what I did was the next day, I was in speech committee class with Mr. Glenn, and I'm telling Lil Brady, he's here. Okay, there he goes. I'm telling her about all the stuff that happened. Like, yeah, they did this because I'm black. Doing this, I'm mad. She's sitting there like, you know what I mean? I'm venting to her. And Mr. Glenn said, hey, everything that you said, make that your original words, put that in a speech. And I was like, no, I don't write no speech. I'm not thinking about that. He's like, no, you always about going around here talking about Malcolm X and everything like that. Now it's your chance to put that on the speech and tell everybody what that happened to you. I was like, So I did it, and I just started, and this is the thing. This is where I found my voice, right? Because I'm an athlete, a lot of people listen. So they and the total world talking about that speech. I took that speech all the way to Harlem, right? Competing against people all across the country. So that's how I learned how to handle racism, was to talk about it and write about it. Because right now, I write books. I have a podcast to talk about it. You know what I mean? And like it's the collision where sports and politics collide. That's just a joke too messed up. But that's what I do, so that's how I am. All right, next question.
I need some of your football players to ask a question.
What was one of your hardest moments as a student athlete?
Or no, what is one of your hardest moments as a student?
I think the hardest moment of being a student athlete is you have to balance schoolwork, the practice. You know, the kids that didn't play sports, they stay after school, probably go to the library, get their stuff done. They get home, they probably did, you know, as soon as they got home, they did their homework. But for athletes, after school, you have to go to practice. After practice, you're tired. You're really trying to eat and go to sleep, but you still have an assignment to do. So you have to balance that out, whether it be doing some work in the morning, or maybe just coming up with a routine and say, okay, on Tuesdays and Thursdays, I'm going to go touring, or whatever day you choose. But balancing school and athletics was the hardest part about it because of not only the pressure, but just your body being tired and you're constantly thinking about the game, you know. At least I did a lot of times. You know, you watch a film, you get home, you want to watch more film, you want to watch more football, but you still have work to do. So that's what I was saying.
So, all right, next question. Before guys, how did you deal with the opportunity? Did you have how did you go to someone that you trusted dearly? Sure. Say it one more time. Before you found Christ, who did you turn when things was getting over?
That's a really good question, and I wish I had asked that when I was that age right now. A lot of times, I kept everything inside, and it came out later on when I got to Arkansas. I started free, and so that became my outlet, and that was my outlet until I found Christ in 2012. So what I was doing was I kept everything balled up inside, and what I did, I tried to handle it by myself. And dude, is it we're not made to carry things by ourselves. And so kind of like what our brother was saying, and kind of like the previous said, guys, once I started getting involved in ministry, at first I thought it was me. You know, I'm a young black male, my mom struggled with drugs, my dad was there. I thought this was just going to be the course of life for me. And once I really got started in ministry, I started to see it was Hispanic people, white people, it was rich people, poor people. All of us had issues. And I was my own worst enemy, but I wanted to keep it bottled up inside because I wanted to look a certain way. I wanted to look like I had it all together. I want to look like I don't have issues because all of us have issues. And the way God has it set up is that none of us will have a free run to the cross. All of us are going to have to do our own work to build our own testimonies. And so that's a really good question. I would have to say, find somebody to talk to. If you're going through something, I'm not just pointing him down, but all of us. And it might not be drugs and alcohol, the situation I was faced with growing up. It might be stress, anxiety, or you might have a great day at school or great game, but going home, your parents are going to be arguing all night. And so it's all that kind of stuff that you guys go through as a young person that you have to go through, and it's forced on you. But guys, find a teacher, find the best friend. What I didn't know was one of my coach from high school, he told one of my friends, look out for Romeo. Because he knew the burden I was carrying. And so I had a really good friend. But don't hold stuff into yourself, and don't think you're the only one going through it. And don't think it's an age thing. It's any race, creed, nationality. All of us go through issues. So don't bottle stuff up. Find somebody to talk to, a teacher, or whoever you might be close to, or a pastor. Get things out because you don't want to carry this stuff. And when you heard the stories, like what happened to him? He was so good. Like Etan was saying, it was a lot of nice people that played ball, and the off the court, the personal issues get involved in what you're going to do on those Tuesday and Thursday nights. So get your personal life in order first, and then find somebody to talk to. And I wish that I really had to carry it for so long. But find somebody to talk to. You're going to be amazed at just how many teachers are there to help you out and talk to you. You don't have to go through everything by yourself.
I'm wondering, what are your thoughts on the recruiting process now with the transfer portal?
What are my thoughts about
The high school recruiting process?
high school recruiting process and transfer portal? Fantastic question. Okay? It's completely different than how it was when we were growing up. So right now, you all have to become businessmen and become business minded. Okay? So after college for us, that's when we started looking at, that's why I took all the hard business classes that I didn't like. Because I wanted to know how to manage my money once I got it. Right? Y'all have to start doing that earlier. So after you get out of high school, first of all, you have to start looking at representation. Every single one of you should have representation going into colleges. Do not let them talk you into saying that you can negotiate or your parents can negotiate if they're not able to do it for themselves. Because there are different things that a lawyer is trained to be able to make sure that they do correctly that best benefits you. The college is going to draw the contract to benefit them. For instance, you will have your NIL payment laid out, okay? They'll lay it out structured a certain way, which I have payments every month or whatever, right? You want to be able to get your payments before the transfer portal opens, because once you hit the transfer portal, what do you think happens to your payments? They stop. Those are different things that a lawyer is going to have to make sure that it's in your contract the right way, because they're going to put it in there, but they're not going to let you go. They're going to say that they want you to do X amount of social media posts per month in order to be able to get this, right? Now, if you miss that mark, you don't get paid for that month. So you sometimes, this would be my advice, because I don't even think y'all need social media. That's my personal opinion. But I think you can have somebody else work your social media for you and do all the things that you need to do, the points you need to make, NIL-wise. So they want to say it's a commercial for Tasty Freeze, and you mention Tasty Freeze, and do a post and stuff like that. You have somebody else do that. You ain't got to worry about that, right? But I don't even think that y'all really need to be worried about social media, because what do you care what a million people say about you? The only thing that's going to come from social media is they're either going to give you a big head and hype you up to get you better than you are, right? Or they're going to tear you down and make you think that you're worse than you are. Those are the two options. You play well, everybody knows most hope. You play bad, oh, it's so terrible. That's it. That's what social media is for athletes. So why do you look at it? I'll be honest with y'all, guys. Sometimes y'all got to protect your own mental health as athletes. So one of the things that pushed me into doing things in the media is because I didn't like the way the media covered athletes. That's one of the main reasons why I got into media. To call them out and how they're doing, how they tear people down. Listen, I played with Michael Jordan. I saw them literally talk about this guy like he was a god. Like, way too much. Like, okay, yes, he's good. Yes, he's a great player, but goodness, you put too much on him. And then when he played bad, because he played bad sometimes those years. He was old. He was a 40-year-old Michael Jordan. Right? He wasn't jumping from free throw line, going all the tongue out. It wasn't that. It was a different one. He was catching it at the elbow. That was a different Michael Jordan. Right? They killed him when he played bad. So I'm looking, I'm like, man, they be Michael Jordan like that. What they gonna do to me when I play bad? So I would honestly, y'all have to protect your mental health with the social media thing. Right? Next question? Okay, all right. So I know we wrapped it up. I want to tell you this part, all right? In your life, for the rest of your life, you are going to have something that's called haters. Now, what is the new term that y'all use for haters? Because I'm a little older, so I want to stay current. What do y'all call haters? What do y'all call haters? The ops. There we go. My daughter's told me about that. The ops. All right, listen though. Everybody listen. Because this is 100% true. Y'all are going to have haters for the rest of your lives. And sometimes they're going to be the people who are in positions of
power, like your teachers, like your police officers, like your coaches. Y'all know y'all can have a coach that's a hater. Y'all know if they're in this room, don't even react. Just stay here with me, and y'all know that you can have a coach that's a hater. All right? Check out a quick story. All right? Quick story. This is my first year in the NBA. All right? I'm playing with the Washington Wizards. Michael Jordan comes up retired. All right? Now I got drafted by Dallas, but I didn't play there because I got hurt. I got injured. They misdiagnosed me. They said I had church toe. I actually had a broken bone in my foot. That's another thing real quick. When y'all get to college, y'all know always get a second opinion. Always. Don't ever take the opinion that the team doctor gives you because they work for the team. Right? So they're going to do what's in the best interest of the team. Y'all saw what happened to Halliburton? Halliburton should never got cleared. Never. They want to say, oh, he wanted to play. Well, of course he wants to play. He's an athlete. There's supposed to be a doctor that says, no, you cannot play. You injure yourself more than trying to play. I don't care if this was the Game 7 finals. And now, where's Halliburton going to be for the whole season this year? Injured. Towards Achilles. Right? That's why you always get a second opinion. All right, next question. All right. I'm Washington Wizards. Right? How many of you have heard of Kwame Brown? Raise your hand. You heard of Kwame Brown? Kwame Brown? Okay. Kwame Brown was the #1 pick in 2001. Right? And that was technically my rookie year because I didn't play the year before. We're sitting in the office of our head coach. Head coach's name is Doug Collins. Right? Doug Collins had an interesting personality. I'll say that. Right? So we're sitting there. He tells Kwame Brown, Kwame, you're going to be one of the worst #1 picks ever in NBA history. Then he looked at me. He said, at the time, I don't think you're going to make it out of your rookie deal. And I don't think you're going to be able to make it in the NBA. Now, I'm from North Tulsa. All right? He said that. I said, what did you say? So at that point, remember I told you before about the story where you black out and you don't see nothing else? You just see the person like everything else sounds fuzzy? That's what I did. Kwame
was 17 years old at the time. He was a young cat, right? He
didn't even react to what Doug Collins said about him. He pushed me back like this. He said, come on, let's just go. Right? I was about to put this cat to sleep. I'm gonna be honest with you. That's what I was doing. Right? Now, if I had punched him in his face, I probably would never play basketball again. That would have been the last thing. I would be here. Everything. He'd probably still be asleep right now. Right? He was an old wrinkly, decrepit, white man. Come on, man. If I hit him, that would be terrible. Right? So sometimes God sends an angel to help you when you don't have self-control to help yourself. And I've had different situations like that for me. So, how do I handle this situation? Because this is my coach. I gotta look at this dude every single day. Right? And I know that this is how he feels about me. Every single day I gotta drive up there and I'm sitting there and I'm looking at him. And he didn't really play me that much. So how do I do it? So I said, okay, I'm not gonna let this dude beat me. I'm not gonna let this dude defeat me. Right? So me and Kwame, that's how we got close. So if y'all saw a little while ago, Kwame went off on everybody. Did y'all see that on social media? So he was mad, he's talking about, he's like, going through all of this, give a greatest nephew, great nephew, all that. He's going down the next pretty girl up, everybody. Etan Thomas is new, my man. But everybody else nephew. So my phone started blowing up like, yo, your boy going off. What's going on? And I'm like, I don't know. But everybody was down on him. And the way they set it up, it was like if everything went well and we won, it was all hell Michael Jordan. But then if we lost, it was Kwame's fault. He might even play that much that game, it was his fault. That's the way that it was set up. And me, I just wasn't playing that much, so I'm just watching everything, right? So what I did was, 2 years went by, and Doug Thomas got fired. And the new coach came, and his name was Eddie Jordan. And I just worked better in his system. So Eddie Jordan wanted the big man catching at the top of the key, he like the pressing offense. So he wanted you catching at the top of the key, be able to dribble hard right or left, dribble hard, dribble handoff, or sometimes make the handoff and go, or you give it, you pivot, you rotate a little hard in basketball before the defense has a chance to react, you wide open, make a move. So that I did. So you told me you wanted to do that? That was not what I did. I ain't never did all that before. That's not how I played Syracuse. I was like, okay, that's what you want. That's what we're practicing on. So I'm in there practicing. Getting it ready. The other dude, he's 7'3". He worked great in the college offense. He just wanted to be there and be 7 feet. And like, you know what I mean? I couldn't do that. I'm not 7 feet. So I worked better in Eddie Jordan's office. So I started playing. I started having some success. And then I got my next contract. So remember, the college told me I wasn't going to get out of my rookie year. So what I did was, I wrote a poem. You know, I told you I was in the speech debate, that's how I did with the writing, right? I wrote a poem. And guess what the poem was called? Guess what the poem was called? Who would guess? No. Come on. You think. What do you think the poem was called? Haters. I wanted them to answer. Haters. All right? So I'm going to do this poem for you. And I want you, for a second, roll with this. 1 second. Close your eyes and think about the hater that you have in your life. Just do it real quick. Come on. Remember, right? Close your eyes real quick. It can be anybody. Just think about a hater that you have in your life and get the picture of that person. All right? Y'all got it? Y'all got the hater? Y'all got the ops? Are you saying right? Okay, cool. Y'all got the ops? All right, cool. All right, here we go. Let's do this quick poem. All right? Y'all ready? All right, cool. You never want to be made. Did everything in your power to conquer my spirit. Inhibit my progress while subduing my strength. Pinching my passion, you want to be the fair. To fall flat on my face. Fulfilling your wish for my dreams to be deferred. Suffocating my desires to attain my goals. You want to my aspirations to exist merely as a figment of my imagination, never to escape into the realms of reality, but only existing within the fallacies of my thoughts. Through cerebral failures, you wanted me to experience conceptual breakdowns, to give up on my hopes, kidnap my wishes, and steal my desires, perceptual shakedowns. Why would you aspire to see my universe crumble? Take pleasure in seeing me stumble off my path. Your prayers will conspire against me, bidding on my downfall, calling on roadblocks to impede my progress, knocking me off track. Sending me back to the depths of failure, where dreams refuse to glow in the dark. Where should have been sparkling possibilities as opportunities slip through the cracks of their victories, backing down their chances at success. You would love for your words to knock me down from the count. For me not to withstand your verbal beatdown. For my pride to become swollen shut. And needing my training to cut me on blurring my vision. You wouldn't keep me trapped in a loser's bonds. But like Saul Williams, I stopped combing my mind so my thoughts could lie. I'm so glad I ignored you. Paying any attention to something that I couldn't afford to do. With your fake smiles to lure me into your trust. Busting through walls, I refuse to lose. You can't capture my passion when that's a disaster. I'm avoiding sacks like quarterbacks, calling me my crooks because I'm sidestepping and passing through your negative advances. I will never dance to your tune. I'm dismissing your songs of doom. You want me to do to be coming to my theater, to be the box office smash, crashing my will to succeed. Your shots of destruction can't harm me, for my desire is bulletproof, so keep busting at my joy. I'm catching your bullets in my teeth like I'm Bruce Lee, because I've got the glow of God within me, and prosper not where the weapons formed against me. So put simply, your desires for me to fail will never stop me. So one last thing, I wrote that poem, right? And I gave it to him. So I saw him, he was the coach of the 76ers that next year, right? So I went in there, I knew he was the coach, so I went right up to him. As soon as we got ready for practice, I went looking for him. Like, where he at? Okay, cool. I went here, I gave him the poem. Oh, how you doing? All right, then I left. So I'm sitting there, and I'm just watching. I'm waiting for him to read it. So he read it, he looked at it, and he looked like this. And it was the best ever. I'll be honest with you. Some people might think that I'm bad or something like that, but for me, that's how I handle the situation. So I put that poem in my book, the first book that I wrote called More Than After. And it was something where you have to learn how to have an outlet that won't be detrimental to you. So, what I wanted to do was punch him in the face when he said that. I'm gonna be honest with y'all. I can be honest with y'all, right? That's what I wanted to do. I'm from North Tulsa. You gonna sit there and disrespect me like that? That was my first instinct. But I'm not gonna do that. Right? So I devised a way to be able to motivate myself. So when you have people who are the haters, who are the ops in your life, trying to get you to do something that is going to keep you from your goal, or trying to discourage you from your goal, or to keep you from getting to where you want to go, you got to think that you can't let them win. Because if they win, that means you lose. Y'all understand that? That's all we got, man. Thank y'all for listening to us. So before I want to bring up the principle, right? And listen, I know you didn't want to talk about, but I have to thank you, and I'm going to explain to you why. Because I have to thank him for allowing this to happen. So what y'all don't know is that there were certain people that didn't necessarily want this to happen. Because they were worried, I'm telling you, they were worried about what we was going to be here talking about. So if y'all see my social media, I talk about a lot of the politics and things of that nature that's going on today. Right? My show is called The Collision with Sports and Politics Collide, so there's nothing that I don't cover. So all the things that are happening, I talk about. They were a little nervous. Okay? But I wanted to be able to assemble this great panel of athletes to come into pour into y'all the same way that the athletes in the past poured into us. And it was really important to do. So thank y'all for coming. Thank y'all for being here on a Saturday. Because I'm sure there's plenty of things that y'all want to be doing. But I appreciate y'all. So I just want to say thank you. All right? I appreciate you for allowing us to do this. And I would like to do it again this year. Keep doing this. And Fred Jones, this is the man right here who cares about Booker T and the spirit of Booker T and the alumni of Booker T so much. And y'all are going to understand that as you graduate from Booker T, how much alumni like him have to fight for Booker T. Now, y'all don't understand it now, right? But I guarantee you will. But listen, we want all of y'all to be successful. We're contacting all of the coaches. We're going to come in and watch y'all play at different times. We're on social media, so we're going to see like different clips of y'all games. I still don't like the basketball team don't play at ORU. It's going to come here to be the state champion. I was asking for the state. But whenever y'all know the state, I want to come back and see them. I want to see us in like February, March, right? And it's like in Oklahoma City, I don't know how the state is Oklahoma City, what they do about it. And how All right, hold it down. All right. Well, listen, much respect to all of y'all. Keep working hard. All right. Oh, one more thing. The people that ask questions. Raise your hand for me. 1, 2, 3, 4. Right there, okay. I'm going to give y'all happy. Boom. And who is the other person? Oh, right there. That's right. That's right. Appreciate y'all. Great. Someone else ask the questions. All right. Thank y'all. So listen, I would like to get one picture with all of y'all. Is that cool? Before y'all roll out. Y'all get a picture with all y'all in the panel. Y'all good with that? Y'all okay with that? Okay.
Let me say something.
Go for it.
Hey, everybody give them a big thank you for coming back. Right, I just want to thank you guys for all coming back, right? Number one, because guess what? When I was growing up, people poured into me. He knows my dad growing up poured into him, which he's now trying to pour back into me and trying to tell me some routine ways that I might have learned growing up. So, guys, we are all here to help you guys grow forward and grow. So, bottom line, look forward to seeing some more of this type of stuff going forward. We don't step back from any type of conversations, no matter what, right? Because we're all here to get better. So let's continue to improve and get our PRs every single day. Let's get that over.